All right. As you see, good evening on the eve of Thanksgiving. It is the one and only SEC After Dark. Joining me is the man from Locked On Ole Miss, a man who's emotionally exhausted and he's got a beer in hand. You got a Coors Light here. It's Stephen Willis. It's Jeb Beecham licking his wounds. And Aubie. That is Jake Thomas. We've also got the chat. It's up and running already. I haven't even finished my introduction yet, and the chat is already up and running. It's like something's happening at Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Steve's going to fill us in on that here in just a minute. We are brought to you by betonline.ag. It remains to be your number one betting source for all your sports betting needs. You got World Cup happening right now. Lots of odds, lots of things going on with that. So be sure to jump in on all that action. You could also get in on your NFL bets, all your props, things happening for Thanksgiving Day and this weekend. College football, NBA is in full swing. So lots of stuff to bet on this weekend. So BetOnline is your number one source. There is a promo code that is Bleav. That's BLEAV. You get a 50% welcome bonus if you type that in as the promo code there. Again, that's BLEAV for your 50% welcome bonus. Just put that in. BetOnline. It's where the game starts. So, Steve, this whole saga is taking more winds and twists and turns than a NASCAR road track. And it is, to put it mildly, it is insane. So, does he stay? Does he go? Does he go? Does he stay? What's the latest, man?
The latest is I don't know, but let's just refresh this for people that haven't been paying attention. About last Thursday on my show, I was like just kind of ignoring this and treating this like a normal Lane Kiffin end of season thing. You know, we're not going to put too much energy into it. So around Thursday, my contact at Auburn's like, "Hey, Steve, you need to take this seriously." And I'm like, "Why do I need to take this seriously?" He said, well, the rumor is that Auburn is looking at 10 years, $120 million with their offer. And, you know, that one kind of made me perk up a little bit. I mean, it's an obscene amount of money. And that started to do everything. And it got so loud like a hairdryer coming off of the plains in West Georgia. And it just kept going over and over and over again. And Auburn Twitter trolls were showing up in my timeline. By the way, I got that clown makeup one on me today. By the way, they did that on something I said, so that was pretty good. I finally made it right.
Congrats,
yeah, and just kept happening over and over and over again. So that got to last night, and everybody said that, hey, this thing's 99% done. This thing's almost over the finish line. But Lane Kiffin hadn't signed a thing. So rumors started going today that Lane Kiffin was getting cold feet. And part of that, you know, might be his family. But to turn down the amount of money he had, that was ridiculous. And that's a ridiculous idea. And that is one reason that I am still like waiting and seeing on this. So, but the Auburn person did call me tonight and it's like, hey, they are panicking over here. They are absolutely panicking. And the people that thought this was 99% done at best are now saying this thing is 70% done at best. And honestly, at this point, the Ole Miss situation, it's a 50-50 prospect. I think Chase Parham at rebelgrove.com mentioned something like Lane Kiffin met with the team tonight and in stronger terms basically said he was staying. Now, I don't know if that is true. I can't confirm that. I am 1,500 miles away. But everything seems to be trending towards Ole Miss on this story, which will make the most bizarre coaching thing, this the new number one, over what happened at Tennessee about 12 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to unfold all this. I don't know what to believe with all these rumors. I mean, $120 million contract. Is that really true?
Yeah.
It's hard to turn down 12, 14 million guaranteed annually. I mean, that's hard to turn down. So I find it, it's I don't know. It's crazy that all this stuff's happening, and maybe he didn't get the offer that he wanted. Cassidy, I sent the AOL disc. I guess they hadn't got there yet. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, part of me thinks he's got, like, I didn't think he was going to, I still hold on to my original prediction that I think he was going to flirt, but I didn't think he was ever going to jump and go.
Yeah, and you get a whole bunch of people, and this is something that I just don't know how to take. And I get this is SEC After Dark. This is Ole Miss people on here. Ole Miss fundamentally changed as an institution 10 years ago. Hugh Freeze changed this program forever. It just is what it is. But according to the national media, according to other media that are flyby that don't have the memory to actually pay attention, they still think of Ole Miss like it's 1985. It's 1992. This is that same situation where Tommy Tuberville was just taken from Ole Miss, and it was rightfully taken from Ole Miss because Ole Miss at that point was a stepping stone. So they think that Ole Miss is in that same way, but this is not that Ole Miss. In the last 10 years, they announced today that the Grove Collective went over annually $10 million a year. And that puts them probably in the upper half of the SEC. That is not territory that Ole Miss would live in 1995. But now it's just commonplace, and it's going to grow.
It will. And people are going to have to pay ridiculous money to be able to get these coaches out of Ole Miss, which is showing the direction that the program is actually going, whether it is moved into that upper echelon of destination jobs or not. That remains to be seen. But if Lane Kiffin decides to stay, that might be more and more true that maybe Ole Miss is more of a destination than they used to be. Because it used to be, hey, you go to Ole Miss and you do well, and then you dip to a bigger job. Tennessee was, obviously that for Lane Kiffin as well. So who knows? Like maybe Lane Kiffin looks at different things. Like, maybe for him, I'm not saying it's a stepping stone job for everybody, but maybe for him, maybe this was the stepping stone to get back into the state of Alabama. Maybe not where he originally intended on going, but maybe he feels like if I can just be a thorn in Nick Saban's side, which he loves to troll Nick Saban. I mean, he has the utmost respect for him, but he loves to troll him. He'll be at a perfect place if he intends on going to Auburn.
Okay. Yeah. I agree. The problem with Lane Kiffin is there's no way to know what he's going to do because it's whatever he wants, and he just doesn't. He plays that close enough to the vest. You never know what he wants to do. But you're right. I see what you're saying about Ole Miss having changed in the last few years. Now with the NIL and with the way Lane Kiffin has been able to handle the transfer portal and that kind of thing, he can build a strong program at Ole Miss, compete for national championships in the future. There's no reason he can't do that. So I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Money. But
yeah, that's a ton of money. Yeah, everything has to come back to that dollar amount. But that's a huge amount of money.
And it might be easier at Auburn to get some of the recruits you want to get. I get that too. I'm just saying now he could actually look at Ole Miss as this is the place I want to be because I can not only build a team here that can win national championships, I can go down as a legend at Ole Miss. It's going to be harder at Auburn to go down as one of the greatest coaches ever, but at Ole Miss, maybe he could do it.
Yeah, it'd be hard for Lane Kiffin to complain whenever his starting quarterback is a former Gatorade National Player of the Year and Zach Evans is backing up Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. It's kind of a hard argument to make about, you can't do it here whenever it's actually being done.
Yeah. Yeah. But in the
you
end,
can't argue against that, yeah. But in the end, it's hard to turn down. In the end, it's going to be the money.
It's a lot of money.
If he leaves, it is strictly financial, and I think I don't blame him. It's hard to turn down that much money.
And I want to say this real quick. Sorry, Jeb. We'll go to you in just a second. In the SEC, we have a caste system. We absolutely have a caste system. Jake and Corey and Jeb's teams play by different rules than I do Mississippi State, Arkansas, Kentucky, South Carolina. And until you win an SEC football championship, you cannot get into that club. And I think that is one problem with perception at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're still seen as a have-not because you haven't even participated in the game ever. So
2 Sugar Bowls, no trips to Atlanta. I mean, I understand that.
Yeah, and that's perception, and unfortunately, perception is reality in this scenario. In Auburn, because they've won a national championship, played for another in the 2000s. They've played in the SEC championship several times. They are viewed as one of those upper echelon programs, when in reality they're kind of like college football's version of the Florida Marlins, where they're like this, you know. They win, and then they load up, and then they unload, and they're bad for a couple of years, and they're back up, and that's just their recent trend. If they got more consistent, I don't know.
The other thing is, and I am not talking trash here. I'm not talking trash here. I've had 2 weeks of people coming at me, so understand that. But is there anybody in the world that thinks better about themselves than Auburn fans? They talk about themselves like Auburn is Alabama, but their results, when you look at the last 10 years, it's South Carolina.
No. Stop pointing at me. I see that. We are.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he froze up. He's out of AOL disc.
You ever heard Georgia fans talk? We think pretty highly of ourselves.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Coming off a national championship, you're allowed to.
You know what? A team that
we went on a 4-year drought. That didn't stop us.
A team that should feel very highly about themselves that for some reason does not is LSU, believe it or not. They're not the pompous elitist fans. They think highly of themselves, but it's not the same thing. Yeah, they're not obnoxious about it.
They just want to party and have fun.
And I was gonna say, I think they just enjoy football, which is great.
I look forward to going on AYS Sports with Blake Ruffino later on to talk about the SEC championship. That'll be fun. But heck yeah, man. Yeah, Auburn fans, they're flying high on them Cam Newton days, man. That's what happened.
Yeah, a miracle catch, that miracle at Jordan Hare, and a kick six, and also the Cam Newton year. They're going to live off of that for 25 years.
And if they ever figure out this coaching situation, they may have another one somewhere around the bend. But God Almighty, like I've never seen a team that has been so that coming off a national championship can't recruit. Like Chiswick, Gus Malzahn, like I have no idea why he couldn't recruit offensive linemen.
Listen, I watched the Locked On Auburn show a couple of days ago, and they were literally sitting there on there talking about, and they thought that during the Walk of Champions, an Ole Miss fan would turn Lane Kiffin into Two-Face with acid on his walk, and it's like, what is going on? That doesn't make any sense. And they might. Yeah.
No, you use mustard. We know that.
Yeah, seriously, and golf balls.
Yeah. No, you just get in their face and bark excessively.
Yeah. What does Georgia Tech do? Do they buzz? They go like bzzz.
I don't know. I don't ever see them.
Like the purple cobras.
Yeah. No, they do the Budweiser dance. Yeah. No, they just talk about, hey, you're gonna be working for me. You're gonna be saying, do you want fries with your degree from Georgia? That's what they say. And they don't realize that Georgia has completely caught them as a university.
I was gonna say, I think Georgia's pretty highly ranked, so
yeah. So
not happy about saying that, but I think they are.
They are. Maybe just not in the field of engineering, but they are for business and veterinary school and
you know what?
School of journalism.
Now comes the point where I get to bag on Jeb, right?
All right, let's hear it.
Is this the point? Are we still going with Lane Kiffin here? Or?
Well, no. Let's take a break. If we come back to him, we come back to him. But we can't do a whole show on it. It's rivalry.
Well, Steve, you haven't talked about Lane Kiffin enough, so I feel like we need to.
Yeah, no, it'll come back up. I'm probably going to circle back around. But
before you do that, if you're listening out there on social media, go ahead.
I get to dust off Joe Milton jokes again.
Do it. And you guys dust off that like button, that subscribe button. You dust it off, click it, and you can jump in on the chat with us, with Stacey and Becky and John, Jake Hall. Welcome, Jake Hall. Some names
some new names,
familiar names. Some new names. So Jeb
and John, the OG.
We're about. You better buckle up here. We're about to.
Yeah.
This might get ugly for a minute.
Yeah. Shane Beamer turned into Ted Lasso.
What the hell was that, Jeb?
I have no idea. No idea. I mean, our defense has always been rough, but
South Carolina couldn't score 63 on air.
No. I honestly have no idea. And then losing Hooker, who was on a Heisman race. That's sad. Maybe not after that game anyway, but
that was the proverbial shitty cherry on top.
Yeah. As at that point.
No. I think the shitty cherry on top is Saturday.
No.
Oh, coming
Let's
up.
Let's not go
Vandy?
crazy.
Yeah. Go crazy. Anchor down, baby. No. King Dorvember is here.
No way.
We're gonna get a black and gold checkerboard here.
Well, I don't think we're going to checkerboard their stadium anymore. I think we've talked our fans out doing that.
Yeah. They sold out the stadium, which obviously that's probably Tennessee fans, but still, Vanderbilt wins that game, goes to a bowl game, and Joe Milton, if you need a pass thrown 40 yards, I can throw a pass 40 yards. If you need a pass thrown 20 yards, I can throw a pass 40 yards. Joe Milton is going to quarterback the Vols.
Milton comes in like freaking Craig Kimbrell on a little 5-yard pass. He looks like he's the closer for the Red Sox in the World Series when he's trying to throw a pass to somebody.
Joe Milton is he's like Debo doing brain surgery.
Well, it will be fascinating to see what he does in the game.
Okay. Yep. That one wins. Okay, you win, sir. King of the internet. South Carolina just scored again. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah,
you know what? Tennessee is currently 10th in the playoff rankings, and they gave up 9 touchdowns to Carolina.
Yeah. Come on. You gotta come on, man.
When you get 60 burgered by Carolina, you got to take that. Now, granted, Ole Miss got 35-6. It was a clown show as well. But
I'll be back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah, this is true. Although people are talking about this like we just lost to an FCS team. They're a 7-4 SEC team. They're middle of the pack.
They might as well be an FCS team.
They are middle of the pack SEC. That's better than 80% of their teams in college.
If they drop a game to Barton Simmons, whoa, dude, 4-star player. Yeah.
You're going to be down 6-5 in the last 11. I don't know if that's going to sit well.
Yeah, if Vandy has a 6-5 lead on Tennessee in 11 games, I mean, that's officially where you have to call this a rivalry again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Vandy's not going to win. But
Dorvember is here. Ole Miss's best win this season was against Vanderbilt. Think about that.
Yeah, they played them tough through at least a half.
Mm-hmm.
They might have been winning half.
Florida looked terrible against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt dominated them. Anthony Richardson had 400 yards passing, and they never led the entire game.
Vandy was big boying Florida.
Yes, they were. And Stephen Wortman, the coach at North Dakota State, he's not going to wherever you think he's going. I think you're thinking of Kleiman, who is at Kansas State now. He may be on the move somewhere.
Becky, we're not doing Jake dirty with Albie. He knows the rules. He needs to buy more AOL discs, upgrade his net zero, or something.
He needs to ask Lycos.
Uh-huh.
To find out some connection.
Why does my internet not work?
Because it's a piece of shit.
Oh, there goes our clean rating. Okay.
Voice of God, what'd you say?
I said, but this week in particular, it's bad to do that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, but I can't decide whether or not I want to talk to Jake when he's dressed as Aubie or not. It's going back and forth, and it's kind of up in the air.
Vanderbilt's coming for Georgia. Win in 2026.
Possibly.
Hey, they might be on the rise. Let me ask a question about rankings. This is coming from somebody who's just a fan. I don't have a lot of football knowledge, so tell me how this works when they're deciding these college football player rankings. Look at LSU, Alabama, and Tennessee. All have the same record. Why are they in the order they're in? Like for instance,
when they lost.
It's just like time frame of when they lost.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes sense because I'm wondering if Tennessee's at the bottom, even though they beat LSU and Alabama because of their losses being bad. Why isn't Alabama ahead of LSU? Because both of their losses are by like a point or two, and right scored at the last second. LSU got
LSU won the division, so that puts them ahead of Bama. I'm guessing also because they won their division, they're representing the West in the SEC championship. Maybe that plays a factor. Like that standing has a little bit,
but they still
more
lost
juice.
to Tennessee.
I know. And they got hammered too at home.
Yeah, I still don't understand the rankings. Although I could see them putting Tennessee lower because Hendon got hurt, and at that point you're thinking, well, now they're not one of the better teams in the nation, obviously, without him. Now I don't know how Joe Milton's going to do. We'll see, but I can see that hurting our rating. But other than that, I don't know. I just didn't understand if you're going to put Tennessee at the bottom, then Alabama should be on top. But
okay, Michael. We talked about that and addressed that in the first 10 minutes of the show about Lane. It's a mess. It's a ton of money that Auburn is offering. All of a sudden, it is trending towards Ole Miss at the moment. And that's really where we are. It can go 15 different directions between now and Friday. But it's trending towards Ole Miss. I talked to my Auburn people right before we went on the air, and they were panicking. So I don't know exactly what's going on. It could all get ironed out. He could end up being the coach at Auburn. That could happen just like it could 4 hours ago. Or he could be at Ole Miss. It's like a 70-30 as opposed to a 95-5 at this point, if that makes sense.
If he's going to take it, would that be Friday night or Saturday? Like, when would you expect an announcement?
Probably after the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, if he goes to Auburn, they want to protect Cadillac Williams.
Okay.
They want him to have his day. So I'm thinking it would be Sunday, but it'll probably leak before then.
Yeah.
Poor Cadillac, dude. He's done everything right.
Doesn't seem like they're really considering him for the job, though.
No.
Which is sad. They should at least consider him. They should give him a shot because I don't know if you've watched them play, but they look like a completely different team with him.
Yeah. 120 million.
He ought to at least get an interview.
Yeah.
120 over 10 years. That's ridiculous. I like Lane Kiffin. I've always liked Lane Kiffin. Y'all have heard me on this show. What he's done at Ole Miss has been fantastic. He does not deserve more money than Nick Saban.
I got to tell you, I like Auburn fine. But if Auburn can look at what's happening with Jimbo Fisher at A&M this year and then give a contract like that to somebody else, man, they deserve to crash and burn at that point.
Yeah.
And have to pay that guy $80 million or whatever it is to get out of his contract. I don't know what it'll be for Lane. But.
I mean,
listen,
I don't understand.
If Lane stays, he's got some mending to do with the fan base.
That's true.
He's got some work to do, like real work. Because what he put them through over the last 6 days, I mean, it doesn't matter if you don't know or what's going on or anything like that. You can't do that. Because it gets to an event horizon to where almost the damage is done. So whatever happens needs to happen. It needs to happen in an excitable way. So I agree that if he wants to stay at Ole Miss, they need to announce it on the Jumbotron at the game. And put it up there to where the whole fan base and act like that was the plan all along. But he can't just come up and it's like, okay, he signed his contract.
I
couldn't do that.
I think if you put a big number on State, I think everything will be just fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, how to repair the friendship and all that with the fans. You beat Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl, and you just keep on winning. So there you go.
Yeah.
Citrus Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sign a few 5-stars too, and that'll help.
He had it is a good thing. If he decides he says he's staying, then he goes out and beats Mississippi State, it's amazing how quick a buy-in is going to come back into it. Mm-hmm. Now, he's still going to have to glide hand and do things like the Rebel Road Trip and go around and shake hands and kiss babies during the spring, which he wouldn't normally do. But he's going to have to now, at least for a year, until he can go through and get a win. And also, any extension that gets done for Lane Kiffin after this needs to have like a $50 million college buyout. You can go to the NFL for a normal buyout, but if you go to another college school, it's like $50 million. Because as an Ole Miss fan, I'm not going through this shit again.
Yeah, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
And people would be coming after him every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, every year. Because this is after the first year it came up, after the second year it came up, and all
but
of
Steve, Ole Miss, if Ole Miss is at the point where you say they are, should it matter?
If he goes?
Like, if he goes,
no, it doesn't. No, it honestly doesn't matter.
Right?
Yeah, I'm doing a
So
video tomorrow.
Why all the stress? Why all the stress?
The stress is just because he's the waiting and the putting it through. If you think about it, nothing official has happened in like 6 days since Keith Carter offered that extension. That was the last official thing that has happened. And after that, it was basically like a hairdryer being pointed in your face for 6 days from the other side and nothing going back the other way. There were 18 different ways that he could have denied what was going on and what was going to happen, but he's not. And
he's seriously
like I said,
considering it.
Yeah, he should. It's $120 million. It's a lot of money. Like I said, I think he goes. I think that's going to win out. But the fact that it's as close as it is, you can never say you're a better program than anybody again if this is even remotely close. And it appears it is.
Well,
I honestly, I think he stays because, he knows them bushes at Auburn will be up in his grill the entire time. And at Ole Miss, he seems like he has control of whatever happens during that program. So
it's a high-stress environment, I'm sure, although I don't know. I think Lane Kiffin could handle that kind of thing. I might even enjoy it a bit.
And Jake, he said in the comment, this every single year is getting old. It ruins the last part of our season every time. Welcome to being an Alabama fan because ever since Saban's been there, he's going to go to another school or retire. So, just jump on board. And
I remember all the Texas rumors over and over.
Yeah.
Those were fun.
John just did a Fred Sanford reference on the show. That is the win. You win the internet, sir. Congratulations. Oh, this is the big one.
That is a good one.
Very good, John.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. So how much do you think Lane was offered by Ole Miss?
Lane was offered 9.5 at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
That's the same price that Ryan Day gets. And that is, if we're being honest about it, that is still pressing the upper part of the range of his market value.
Yeah.
And Steve, I got something to ask you. I've been hearing this, and I don't know if it's true or not. You would know, but supposedly, like the state of Alabama is something with their bylaws. You can hire a coach for as many years as you want to, but at a Mississippi State or a Mississippi State school, it's
4
only
years
4
max.
years. Yeah, okay. So that is true. Okay.
Yeah. And thank goodness for that, because right now that rule is saving us from ourselves.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're not going to ever be in a Texas A&M situation.
That's
God
a
only
good
knows
point.
what you would offer if you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he does go, if the 30% does end up kicking in, is it still Jeff Traylor number one on the list?
I've got a video coming out tomorrow. The 3 names that are the Ole Miss fan base is talking about. There's 3 names right now, and The first one is Luke Fickell. I think they would at least make him say no.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
The second,
interesting get. I mean, I would be careful in going after people and making them say no because they will, and then you'll end up in a Tennessee situation when they got Jeremy Pruitt.
Well, they're not going to do it publicly. They're not going to do it publicly. It's just he's going to get the first thing. Then Matt Rule, who, by the way, Nebraska's making a run at Matt Rule at the moment, but Matt Rule I've heard a bunch about from the fan base, and of course Dion, Coach Prime. That would probably be the three names that are getting the most steam at the moment.
Outside, I mean, Fickell would be an amazing hire. I think he's waiting on Ryan Day to bolt for the NFL to go to Ohio State.
I heard Matt Rule turned down Nebraska.
Yeah, and I know, but I heard he went back.
Okay.
Matt Rule,
which means the reason he turned down, something happened that he had to turn them down, and they're like, "Wait, what were you guys saying?"
Yeah.
You were saying. I got a question, Corey. How long do you think Kirby will be at Georgia? As long as he wants to be,
right.
And that's his alma mater. So I don't think he's going anywhere.
Yeah,
I don't think he's going anywhere until either he gets fired or he retires. One of the two.
Yeah. Or the NFL, NFL rings too loud where he has to answer. And then I think when he got fired from the NFL, Georgia would fire whoever the coach is and bring Kirby back.
Bring him back. Yeah.
I mean, I really would think that would happen. So, no, he's not going anywhere. He's if he gets a repeat, he's definitely there. There's a statue gonna be built, and he's not going anywhere. He's making $11.5 million, something like that. It's crazy.
Hey, Jake, the 9.5 money came from Michael Borky on Super Talk, who said the contract offer was Ryan Day level money, and Ryan Day makes 9.5. That's where I got that number from.
Makes sense.
All right.
And there you go. So let's get back to these games because I know all this coaching search stuff can
suck the oxygen out of the room.
Yeah, because we're not quite in the Black Monday realm, but Corey, you go and coach Georgia after he retires. Yeah, I'll go be the placeholder until he gets fired from the NFL.
Corey will be like 80 when that happens.
Yeah, exactly. Kirby will be like 85. So I'll do my 2 years at Georgia, retire and be good. Or just do my 2 years, get fired with my $1 million buyout, and we'll be set, man. We'll be set. So, so 2 years, yeah. So in 2 years, I will retire from SEC After Dark to go coach the Dogs for a couple of years, and then become a millionaire.
And then come back.
And then come back on my $1 million buyout. So yeah. Egg Bowl, Steve. Egg Bowl. I know you don't get to talk about it on Locked On Ole Miss these days, so
yeah,
talk
seriously.
About it here.
I actually had to do a preview of the Egg Bowl in a separate video, so every video, the whole thing can be about Lane. That everything is about Lane right now. He sucked all the oxygen out of the room. This game, I don't know. I don't know. If Lane is checked out and going to Auburn, I would take Mississippi State. If they announce before the game or he's announced already and let the team know that he's staying, I would take Ole Miss because Ole Miss has a better football team than Mississippi State. And it's at home, and there's going to be like a 90% chance of heavy rain during the day. I mean, everything is lined up for, like, the stars are aligning for Ole Miss. But I need to know what's happening with Lane Kiffin, and we won't find that out until after the game. It's like Groundhog Day. Whichever hole he pops out, either Auburn, Alabama, or Oxford, Mississippi. I mean,
I would say you would think he'd be a pro and coach this game, but you saw what he did up there in Arkansas.
Two 200-yard rushers, and Ole Miss lost that game.
Yeah, the stats in that were insane.
Yeah,
it just didn't make sense.
Over 700. Now, granted, a lot of that was in the fourth quarter. I think they had nearly 300 yards in the fourth quarter. But still, I mean, Arkansas, it is what it is.
Arkansas just backhanded you several times.
Yeah.
I got an update. This is the basketball update, but currently Auburn is losing to Northwestern late in the second half. It's like 10 minutes left to go in the game, nearly.
Ooh.
Yeah. Tune in to Locked On Auburn or Locked On Northwestern because they're going to be doing a joint live postgame show. If you want to, if you're an Alabama fan and you want to enjoy that, that would be available as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Locked On Auburn. Locked On. I didn't know Northwestern had a Locked On. I didn't know Northwestern had anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how vast the Locked On network is. They're going to take
we're everywhere. We don't have a Vanderbilt. We don't have a Mississippi State, but the rest of the SEC we have. It's pretty good. I mean, they also do a really good job of paying their talent. So I'll just say that. Props to them.
Cassidy, yes, I get that a lot, not just from you. From what you tell me, they do a good job of paying their talent. So if the Georgia guys ever decide, or if Locked On you decide you want to take on SEC After Dark as a
seriously,
all
of us will gladly take it.
We would gladly take it, and we would gladly stretch this thing out over 5 days.
Yeah, and Jeb's like, well.
It'd be a lot shorter. It'd be a lot shorter, Jeb. It would
be 20. It would be 22 minutes is what it'd be because our shows are 22 to 30 minutes long.
I could probably find time in the day for that.
So Auburn is taking the lead now. Thanks, Stacey, for that update. 11 minutes left.
Northwestern.
Yeah,
I didn't know they played other sports.
Yeah, when this is all done, when this is all done, I think Auburn's going to become my third most hated team. Period. It maybe even take over the second place because this is utterly ridiculous. Anyway, go ahead.
We tried to warn
It's not
you.
their. It's Lane's fault. He's the one waffling.
Yeah. Well, no, it's the opposing school and Lane. The one person that is not their fault is Ole Miss or Ole Miss fans. So the fact that this drug out for so long.
Well, Auburn made an offer and Lane Kiffin hadn't signed it yet, so he's dragging it out. Auburn, I guess Auburn could say, okay, Lane, make a decision.
My current top three hated teams right now is Mississippi State, number one. That's the game I most hate to lose, period. LSU, number two. That's the game I most want to win, period. And Arkansas, because they're just annoying.
I guess we should all give ours. Okay, so number one for me, and if you ask a Georgia fan this, it depends on where they grew up or where they live. It's all based on geography. Like if you live in East Georgia, if you live on the I-20 corridor, you probably hate South Carolina more. If you live in Atlanta, you probably hate Georgia Tech, but you could hate any of the teams. If you live in West Georgia, it's Auburn. If you live in North Georgia, it's Tennessee. If you live in South Georgia, it's definitely Florida. My dad played at Florida State, so Florida is number one and will always be number one. I live in Tennessee, so by geography, it's Tennessee. That's the game I most want to win. I treat that kind of like Steven treats LSU. I have a lot of friends that are Tennessee fans, so it's really a lot. That game's a lot of fun to win. And then number three is Georgia Tech because they are annoying. And Kentucky was never going to beat us. I mean, we made it look like they were going to, but we just sleptwalked through that one. We don't hate Kentucky. Their stadium is boring. Like, there was nothing to give us an edge in that game.
Yeah. The Kentucky was able to survive rule number one of football, and that is do not take a team that is to cover a line after the week after losing to Vanderbilt. Kentucky was able to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that was
Which,
impressive.
by the way, I'm curious at the bidding war that's going to happen with Furberry and Brown.
Oh, my God. That dude's a Pearl Cone, baby. He's a Firebird.
Yeah.
That dude is
that guy is special. You know that meme that you see on Twitter of like the $180,000 McLaren at the trailer park underneath the carport? Yeah. That meme is Barry and Brown at Kentucky, and especially in that offense.
So, Jake, do you think Bill O'Brien will use Barryon Brown perfectly or appropriately
Hell no.
or effectively, I should say?
Hey, no, you can't call him Bill O'Brien. There's no O.
No, it's Bill Bryan. Corey, get it
it's
right.
Bill Bryan.
My bad.
It's like Texas 3-9 or 4-8.
Texas 1-11. God Almighty, Texas A&M. Jesus, 3-7. Wow. And you had like 5 people at the game.
Oh.
And you struggle. You had a struggle win against one of the worst FBS programs in the history of FBS, a program that is contemplated moving down, and probably I think they did for a couple of years. They relegated themselves to FCS, and you struggle, and you had a struggle win against that team.
Only scored 20 in 4 quarters.
Yeah, that should have been your first. Should have been your first 3 drives.
Yeah,
Against them. God Almighty!
So
this is terrible.
Yeah, just a second. I'm just getting an update for Paul on Twitter. See if it's out and about, so I can look.
First time, long time, Paul.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, talk to us about the Iron Bowl while Steve is reading, or should we just all stare at Steve while he reads?
Yeah.
While I'm doing my Will Muschamp.
Yeah. The Iron Bowl.
Yeah, let's hear
it looks like it's going to be a wet one. So passing the ball may be kind of a struggle. So going to be a lot of running. Hopefully Gibbs is back, but I mean the way McClellan went off last week, we got to get him more involved in the play calling as well. Gibbs is special, but I think Steve has said it last week. You need to put both of them on the field at the same time, and it's just a mismatch. So.
The reality is Jahmyr Gibbs is the slot receiver and Jace McClellan is the running back. And whenever you put Gibbs in the backfield, it makes your offense worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Stacey's actually going to be at the Iron Bowl. We found out today, so that'd be interesting to see.
Nice.
Attaboy, Stacey.
Yeah, I'm on 3 right now, and they keep saying over and over that he's staying, but that doesn't mean he is.
No, you need to get on auburnsports.com, Jeffrey Lee, because he's accurate. From your Rivals days, Steve.
Yeah, I don't know if he likes me.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Why is that? How can somebody not like Steve?
Because I was an asshole.
Well, I mean,
I can see that.
I literally somebody got fired because they snapped and kept just completely going nuts. Corey was sitting right beside me when that happened. But just over and over, we're trying to edit the NCAA tournament, and he just snapped. And I just have that effect on people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that dude that snapped was, he had some issues of his own.
Yeah.
Steve puts on his glasses, shit's about to get real.
So, like, Jake is
okay, this is from just a second. This is from Justin Hokanson of Auburn Live.
All right.
There's nothing I've heard tonight that is overly convincing that would force me to change my mind on anything I reported the last 2 days. Kiffin, then Freeze if Kiffin doesn't happen. I heard earlier this evening that Lane Kiffin supposedly told some players that he was staying. That's worth reporting, but too much unknown about that to make any credible predictions. We will find out soon. Auburn wanted to wrap this up. If that doesn't happen, attention will turn quickly to Hugh Freeze. It's that simple. Whoever reported tonight that Freeze would be named head coach this weekend, that would be news to Freeze as of Wednesday night. It might be right, but Freeze isn't aware of the plan. I guess we will know more tomorrow and tomorrow night. There's really nothing anyone can do about it. Sit back, enjoy your Thanksgiving, and Auburn will have a head coach soon enough. My question is, why tonight, the day before the final game? Odd timing considering these discussions have been going on for 2 weeks. Sorry I can't add more. I'm just waiting and seeing right now. So, honestly, if you go off of what Auburn has said for multiple weeks and the way it's been, the way they've come across, that is not if you're an Auburn fan, that is not an encouraging report. That is basic. Yeah, that's more or less saying, hey, there's probably a 50-60% chance that Hugh Freeze is your head coach when all this is said and done.
Yeah, that tells me that. That tells me that, hey, we're not going to kill your hopes, but Lane Kiffin ain't coming.
Yeah, that's.
Well, has Freeze been allowed to come back to the SEC? I mean, he's got to get through that first, right?
Oh, I don't think, honestly, at that point, I don't think this is a problem. I think he served his penance.
Okay.
I think if they wanted to hire him, they could.
Okay.
I just don't like it. He's such a. I guess he's. I guess the local strip joints in Auburn are gonna love that news.
Yeah.
What, a bunch of cows?
The escort business is gonna be booming.
Bunch of
And
cows.
Is it a dry county in West Georgia?
I don't know if Opelika. What was it? Lee County, Jake?
Yeah, I think it is something like that. Lee County, Georgia.
Might as well be, right?
Yeah.
I know Muskogee County is not dry.
There's
which
an
is
Okie from
Columbus.
Muskogee.
Oh, yeah, that's close by.
You guys are starting to learn some Georgia. You guys are learning some Georgia geography here.
Tell me how you really feel, Becky.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trash. Yeah, you're right. He's very much trash.
Yeah, and Jake, the one thing that I will say about Hugh Freeze and everybody that was talking about eventually Hugh Freeze to Ole Miss or whatever, this is why that wouldn't happen. They had to come up with paperwork to give to the state of the Mississippi to fire him with cause. Whatever was put on that was probably worse than actually transpired. That's the way that works because they need to make that a slam dunk. And $17 million, it had to protect against $17 million. So whatever's in there, the IHL is not Ole Miss people. There's some Ole Miss people, but it's not all Ole Miss people. And those are the people that would make a decision about that.
So you're saying
Look at the chat, what John just said, please.
That's terrible. Wow.
those hookers.
Don't read it out loud. Don't read it out
No,
loud.
you're
All right, yeah,
To yourself.
yeah. We're doing Jeb Google rules.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, normally we don't go off the rails into the off season, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
I love
my
that.
God. Whew.
We haven't done
love
that much
that.
this season.
John, never change, please. Never change. And no, I am one of the few who didn't hate Steve at Rivals.
I think even people that liked me hated me.
Besides Corey.
Yeah, besides Corey. And that was lucky because I sat next to Corey.
Yeah, we sat like 2 feet apart. Like we would be breaking COVID protocol if that room existed now.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it was really cool. It was so cool back in 2008 that we all had direct TV boxes and could watch TV at whatever channel we wanted to watch. We felt so awesome and above everything. And
had
just
our own.
nobody cared. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like, we were just, it was just us, the three of us, you and me and Tom. Just it was, the pit crew. They'd be having crystal eating contests and doing whatever locker room frat stuff that they did
Before Yahoo ruined it.
Yeah.
Now, Becky and Cassidy's going off the rails now.
They are. Oh, my
Oh, boy.
gosh. Yeah.
Oh boy, girls got to make her money. Oh boy.
Oh,
boy.
Making it rain.
Yep, Cassidy's fully off the rails. We have completely rubbed off on her.
Yes.
We have poisoned her mind. It is now completely in the gutter.
It was poison before, trust me.
You're gonna get a shoe thrown at you. Cassidy, please throw something at Jake right now.
No. It hurt.
We want to see that because we can see you right now.
Yeah.
Please throw something at him.
It needs to be like that TikTok thing.
Couldn't find anything, so that's good.
The
Gangster's Paradise thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy's hilarious.
That is probably my only TikTok thing. That and the guy that from Portland, Oregon, that always talks about retail is like, when you don't work hard, you're quietly quitting. No, it's called doing my job.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's like this little skinny twerp looking dude.
Yeah. If you want me to do more, pay me more. So those are my two TikToks, by the way. Yeah.
So you follow two people. Okay.
Yeah. And I basically just annoy people on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm on all the social medias, the Locked On stuff, and yeah, I do it. Yeah. I'm so cool. I'm like the oldest person on TikTok. It's like me, then George Washington.
Which is fitting because that's who you served under. Which paddle were you when you were crossing the Potomac?
Hey Jake, what does Brad Logan say?
Who's Brad Logan, Steve?
He is a reporter for Inside the Rebels and 247 at Ole Miss.
Okay.
Brad's a really good dude, and I would trust what he say. I'm just curious what he said because since we're on the air, it's kind of hard for me to track it because I don't want to put my readers on otherwise until it's time.
Jake,
Whenever
he's
that
talking about Jake Hall.
Yeah, Jake Hall.
I think Jake was.
Yeah, that's weird that we have another Jake.
I saw the comment. I just didn't know who Brad Logan was, so that's why I asked.
Okay.
Oh, he just posted saying he had updated news, but it's like a video you have to watch, so there's no way for us to watch it right now.
Okay. I will check that after the show. Absolutely.
One of my favorite ones was somebody posted breaking news. Lane Kiffin has turned down Auburn to become a support staff member on Kirby Smart at Georgia for Kirby Smart.
I've seen some fun ones. He turned down Auburn because he's going to take over the role of King of England when whatever they sits down.
Listen, when I called my Auburn people, I'm sorry, I'm going to hijack it again. When I called my Auburn people, they were genuinely concerned that Lane Kiffin was trolling them the whole time, and they were just late to the party. That was a real concern of Auburn people that is going around. So I don't know what's going to happen. My show tomorrow is basically what happens if Lane leaves, and it's too late for me to change it. So it's a Thanksgiving thing. Go to the Egg Bowl, enjoy it. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah, what's the problem with Kiffin?
If he leaves, you go hire Dion.
Yeah, and that's what the video's about. Dion gets a whole segment.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, seriously.
But you better do it before he goes to South Florida.
I think Dion would do that too.
Bulls on parade.
Yeah, I think him at South Florida and Tampa. Oh my goodness.
Let's be honest about Coach Prime. We could say that about him anywhere.
Yeah, South Florida and Tampa.
That's how charismatic he is. Well, he is from Fort Myers, yeah. So he grew up in Fort
I mean, in an hour and a half in any direction, just recruiting that, South Florida could have an elite recruiting class.
Plant City, it's right there. Armwood,
Aaron Murray,
yeah, boy. Isn't a Popka down there somewhere?
If you look at Lakeland High School, which by the way is the Lakeland Dreadnoughts, fantastic nickname for a high school. Team in the top 50 in the country. I mean, the talent around here is absolutely nuts. Mm-hmm. And you put Dion there, I think they might be a little brother thing. Like Georgia would never hire a coach that was at Georgia Southern.
Really?
Yeah, or Alabama would never hire South Alabama's coach. You know, that thing.
Or Auburn's coach.
Yeah. Ole Miss would never hire Southern Mississippi's coach. So whenever Prime goes to Florida, he might be saying goodbye to the Florida State job.
Now, why is that?
Because Florida State, just as a better than them, we're better than them.
Yeah. Even if he's one of their own?
Yeah, I think so.
So like if Caddy went to South Alabama, you don't think Auburn would hire him
No, Auburn's
they fire
a
Lane
little bit
Kiffin
of
in 2 years?
Auburn's a little bit of a different animal. Because family means so much to them.
Family. So let's say D'Amico Ryans leaves the 49ers, takes a job at UAB.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think when Saban retires that Bama's not hiring D'Amico Ryans?
Nope. Not even a little bit. You know why? Because Alabama literally shut down UAB's football program.
We tried.
Yeah. No, you succeeded for 2 years.
Yeah, it's 2 years.
Man, so like I don't know if I believe that. One of their own, yes. I don't know. D'Amico Ryans is a badass, by the way, just so you know.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm sure he absolutely is. But D'Amico Ryans would also be smart enough to know that he couldn't take that UAB job.
D'Amico Ryans is not going to college anyway. That was just a hypothetical.
No, he'll get a head coaching job in the NFL here probably in the next year or two, I imagine.
I would love to hate to see him at Carolina or the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Be a good fit for the Saints.
Steve's got another update.
Yeah, he's got another update. Jahmyr Gibbs is in the transfer portal, and he's going to Arkansas.
Okay. 17 minutes ago, Justin Hokanson of Auburn Live said, as of Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, sources tell me there isn't a change in feeling or action on Auburn's end. Sources with knowledge of the search tells me there's been confidence that this is a done deal, that Jimmy Sexton has given clear indication, but things are that things are trending in the right direction, but nothing is final until Lane Kiffin signs the deal. That's all caps. It's this simple. Sources I speak with don't feel any different tonight than yesterday or the day before. I told you they were panicking. Maybe Kiffin stays. Maybe he sticks with the plan that has been laid out and heads to Auburn. But I don't think anything that has happened today that would change how Auburn officials are operating as of Wednesday night. There we go.
Alrighty then. Okay, Steve.
Yeah, this is like the Auburn Live podcast.
I know, right? Welcome to Bleav in Auburn. Okay, so Steve,
Gross.
I'm gonna save you from yourself here.
Okay.
Cover picks. Again, this is SEC After Dark. We're going to talk about the entire conference. I promise.
I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. I've completely hijacked this shit, but that's only because it's chronological order, by the way.
Yeah. I just like that's the first one after you said that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the whole SEC. Now, the Egg Bowl.
Yeah. The very first one. Hey, start from the bottom, go up.
I like starting in the middle.
We can if y'all want to.
No, it don't matter.
It doesn't matter.
No, you good. Go.
We're just busting your balls. Okay, so
Well, that goes to clean rating and picks.
well, you came in and said shit, so we're.
I'm talking about picks.
What is this? This is like Jeb's browser history in here.
It is.
No, we did not search Georgia all whites. Okay, all right. Okay, so it's time. So I'm gonna reset that one. It's time for picks. SEC After Dark. Corey Burton, Stephen Willis, Jeb Beecham, and Jake Thomas. Our voice of God, Becky Willis, and our number one associate producer, Cassidy Thomas. She's got her furious thumbs working on social media at SEC_After_Dark on social media. So follow that page as well. Stephen Willis, I don't know if you've heard him. This has been the Locked On Ole Miss podcast here. You can find him there regularly. Jeb Beecham is a dude. Jake is a Tide Talk Live. So, and I'm Bleav In Georgia Dawgs and Illegal Motion as well. And we join forces to give you the greatest nighttime SEC show, SEC After Dark. Steve, I'm going to throw you a bone here.
Okay.
I'm going to keep the streak alive. You're going to actually go first so that you get your 2 minutes and you can shut up and let us talk.
Yeah, it's going to piss a bunch of people off the way it goes. Because are we starting with Ole Miss and State? Because
we are, because Ole Miss is 2-point favorites in the Grove against the Bulldogs. Steven, go.
Yeah. Okay, after last week against Arkansas, I am scared to death. So the question becomes, is Lane Kiffin staying or is Lane Kiffin going? We spent a whole podcast and we still have no idea what's going on. Yeah. I am probably shrunken down to where it's 70% that he's leaving, but I still think he's probably leaving. So I'm going to take Mississippi State because if that happens, I think I've seen this game before. And that'll be interesting. But I'm going to go with the Bulldogs, I think.
Wow.
All right, so we'll go in order of
Becky
the spreadsheet.
disproved. Yeah.
So Becky's gonna round out each. So I'm taking Ole Miss because it might be sloppy. They Quinshon Judkins can still carry the ball, right? I think he's healthy. Zach Evans is healthy. I think they're going to have a massive rushing attack against Mississippi State. They're going to be able to throw it just enough to be able to win this game in a sloppy affair. It is a rivalry game. It doesn't matter what's going on. The players are going to play because they hate Mississippi State. So give me the Rebs.
Yeah, I agree with Corey. I mean, we saw last week all the distractions and how they kind of just destroyed the dynamics there for Ole Miss. I don't feel like it's going to be as big a problem this week because, again, it's a rivalry game. I think they're going to be up for it. They're going to play as hard as they can. I don't know if Lane Kiffin has told him he's staying or not, but, I mean, I'm not going to believe anything he says until it's made public. But either way, I think they play as hard as they can in this one. And with the Reigns coming in and their running game, I'm going with Ole Miss to cover this one.
Yeah, Steve just said that he's seen this game before because, I mean, he's like 400 years old, so of course he's seen games like this.
Jake said it, not me.
Look to this. Not so fast, my friend.
Oh, and then your internet acts up.
Yeah, but not so fast. But anyway, I think Lane is staying, and I do believe he's got the right mindset. He's going to lead the Revs to a huge victory in the Egg Bowl. That's tomorrow night. So yeah, tomorrow night. So let's go Ole Miss.
Becky, two things. Jeb has Hugh Freeze videos in his browser history. And two, what's your pick?
I've got no comment on the browser history situation. And this week I didn't do my homework. It was a busy week. So I'm just going to go off of who I like, who I don't like. We all know I don't like Mississippi State because they're state. And I think, honestly, Ole Miss's coaching staff got embarrassed so badly last week. They're going to be prepared for this game. The kids weren't the problem. It was the coaching staff. This week, they're going to get their heads out of their heinies, and we're going to win this one. Go Rebs.
Heine. Mm-hmm. Also, in the chat,
I'm trying to be
give us your picks. Yeah, give us your picks.
Yeah, follow along.
Yeah, follow along.
Cass said go Rev.
He said Cass said go Rebels.
All right. Arkansas, a 3-point favorite at Missouri. This line's actually gone down during the week. It's one of those things that's like you're just tempted. They're just like begging you to take Missouri. But I'm not going to do it because I saw KJ Jefferson, and Arkansas is a different team whenever he's healthy and plays and when he's not. And I think Missouri has a good defensive team. I don't think they are good enough to keep Arkansas out of the end zone. Give me the Hawks.
I'm taking Mizzou here. Why? Because this is one of those weird games that I think Mizzou's going to come up and sting them with. Like, just when you think Mizzou's down and out, they just freaking strike you, man. And Brady Cook is growing as a passer. Luther Burden is going to be a problem for a lot of people. Him and Barryon Brown might be the two best receivers on the market next year at Bama. I really like their defensive front. I really like their defensive line. I think Arkansas will have a hard time running on this Missouri defense.
I think I'm going with Arkansas in this one. I just like the way Arkansas plays when KJ Jefferson's there. And he is. I didn't think he was going to play this last week, which is why I didn't take them. But this week he is playing. So I'm going with Arkansas to cover that one in Missouri.
The two brother-in-laws, not so fast, my friends. I'm picking Missouri. Arkansas has looked terrible in the last couple of weeks, minus the freezing cold game they played against LSU. But other than that, they look terrible. Missouri is starting to get a little bit of momentum. They've had some quality wins. I mean, if you say, South Carolina's a quality win now because, they just absolutely destroyed Tennessee. So I'm going to take Missouri here.
Becky!
Arkansas is feeling too good after last week. They need their come to Jesus, and they're getting it this week. Missouri's going to embarrass them. It's going to be painful to watch.
Embarrassing.
The battle line rivalry.
Layeth the smackdown. And that's the bottom line. What? All right, so our next game is Florida State. This game was very important in my household growing up. My whole family hates Florida, and for good reason here. Florida State comes in as 9.5-point favorites. Florida's struggling, man. Napier hadn't quite found the recipe for consistency. They play really good one week for a couple weeks, then they play really poorly and get dominated by Vandy, Vandy plays tough. Vandy's good. They're a conference team. They allegedly give out scholarships too, but Florida struggled a little bit with some consistency. Steve, does Florida State cover this thing at home at the Doak?
I'm sorry. I got a little ahead of myself looking forward to picking the Vanderbilt-Tennessee game. So Florida State, I like it. Jordan Travis at quarterback. Mike Norvell has them clicking. He's a good football coach. Everybody liked to bag on Norvell just because he was left a dumpster fire, but he was a good coach. And Florida State is getting –
coach.
Yeah. I think he's going to take care of it. You got Anthony Richardson on the other side. I trust Jordan Travis more than Anthony Richardson. Florida's 6-6 and Birmingham bowl bound.
There you go. I'm picking the Noles, man. I think I almost forgot that it was my turn. I'm picking the Noles, and I just think they're starting to figure some things out, and like most of the crappy ACC. None of the ACC, I think, as a conference is just completely drunk because you don't know what the hell you're going to get week in and week out. So he signed as a quarterback, played defensive back at Florida State back in the 60s, pre-Bowden. Yeah, I think Florida State wins and covers this thing because I don't know what the heck Florida's doing. Florida can't stop the run, so I'm taking the Noles. Jeb?
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I think Florida State is a solid team. They're not great, but they're solid. They're playing well, and I like them. Florida is just all over the place. You never know what Florida's going to do. So nice. So Florida could show up and just beat them like they did Utah, or they could show up and get just destroyed like they did, or not just beat like they did with Vanderbilt, which is awesome. So I'm going with Florida State in this one though, just because they're the solid team. They're the ones I at least feel like have the consistency to come in and win this game. Nice.
Hey, easy with your words, Jeb, talking about making fun of Vandy. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. But Florida State right now has improved as the season's gone on. And Florida, they're like a roller coaster. It's up and down one week and up 1 week, down 1 week, and just played absolutely terrible against Vandy. And like we said last week, Vandy controlled that game, from the start to the finish. Even though the score was closer than what it was. So, give me Florida State in this one.
Becky.
Florida's going to ruin Florida State's day. Sorry. This is going to be one of their weird upticks. I hate to say it, but Florida's got this.
Gator bait!
Not so fast, Becky.
Don't talk nasty on this podcast, y'all. Come on.
Gator bait!
Ooh, we got a little Clemson. South Carolina's at Clemson.
The Palmetto Bowl, Steve. Clemson is 14.5-point favorites. Can they cover that?
Yes, because South Carolina scored all their touchdowns last week.
They ran out of fireworks.
Everything they had. Oh, God.
They ran out of fireworks at 14 points, guys. It was kind of sad. Yeah, I'm taking Clemson to cover this one. Clemson can play defense. They're going to destroy Rattler, and it's going to be hard for them to. All Clemson has to do is score 24 points, and I think they covered this thing.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm taking two ACC teams over to the SEC, but I'm taking Clemson as well. I think South Carolina, man, they had an amazing game last week, but I'm kind of with Steve. I think they just kind of wore themselves out. That's all they're going to be able to do. Clemson's a good team. They're going to win this one.
Man, what is wrong with y'all? You pick SEC over any other conference they're out there. I don't care who it is. And plus, I want to see South Carolina beat Clemson so we can have Dabo all week say,
yeah, Jake, and you're picking Tech next. So
hey, well, I got a reason for that, Corey. You'll get it next. So anyway, I'm picking South Carolina. Let's go, Cots.
And you pick Louisville. Come on, man.
You got a reason for that one too.
And Vandy. Oh,
I'm sure you do.
No, never mind.
What are you, ACC homer here? All right, Becky.
All right. Well, Jake's reasoning may be flawed, but he's right. South Carolina's feeling good. Clemson's not winning by over 14 points. I'm definitely taking South Carolina this week.
All righty then. Well, clean old-fashioned hate is next on the slate. Probably the highest. Now, I should have learned my lesson last week in picking Georgia in an enormously high spread because we've got back to our old ways of not covering high spreads. But Steve, does UGA cover this one?
Yes, UGA does cover this one. You know why? Because Ole Miss beat them 42-0. And if Ole Miss can beat them 42-0, I think Georgia can do the same thing. Remember, we didn't throw the ball. I think we threw the ball 15 times in that game. So if you just hand the ball to Kendall Milton and Kenny McIntosh, you're probably going to be okay. So Georgia's going to cover. This is going to be a 49-7 game, and Georgia Tech will not be going to a bowl game, even though they're 5-7. Which props to Brent Key.
Yeah, Brent Key, different coach, different mindset from when y'all played him. Y'all got the Jeff Collins version, the Waffle House Cup version, but. No, I think I'm picking UGA to cover this because, yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a 49-7 type game where it's like 7-0 for a minute, and then you're like, oh, okay, Tech came to play, and then next thing you know, you blink and it's like 49-7. You're like, okay, how did we get here? So give me the Dogs.
Yeah, I'm going to agree, although Georgia's not really a team that likes to blow out other teams. It just doesn't seem to be their thing this year. But, I mean, Clemson scored 41 on them, Ole Miss 42, Florida State 41. I feel like Georgia can do that as well. So I'm going to take Georgia this time, although I don't feel great about it.
This is when Kirby wants to blow them out because it's Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
All right, Steve stole my thunder.
Yeah, when Kirby played, Georgia Tech was good, right?
Mm-hmm. Joe Hamilton. Mm-hmm. There's a picture of him whiffing completely on Joe Hamilton, trying to tackle him. And Rattler has not gone back-to-back yet in his career, high school included. So keep that in mind.
But I'm picking Tech, 35.5 points. That is a huge spread. And like Steve said, 5-6. They're 5-6. They're going to come in hungry because they're trying to get a bowl berth. And they're going to play fired up for a half. And if it's like, 21-7, 21-10 at the half, I don't see how they get past that 35.5 points threshold in the second half. So give me Tech all day.
I think Kirby's going to pour it on early and then let out. But yeah, I think it's going to be hard to stop us from scoring if they can't stop the run.
You struggled against Will Levis.
We did, yes.
Nice.
Okay.
Ouch.
It's Will freaking Levis, for God's sake.
No, we didn't struggle against Will Levis. We struggled to score on 4th and 1 from the 1. Like we were putrid in the red zone. That's why we struggled. Will Levis was the last thing we struggled with.
Still, it's Kentucky.
Excuses.
Led by.
On Facebook, they're saying Kiffin is staying at Ole Miss. Do you see him using new DC, or do you see keeping the same coaches?
To Tune in tomorrow for a lot of Ole Miss. You'll find out.
Yeah, what a night!
Make your pick.
What a night!
Yeah, that's changed around completely. I love it.
For me personally, I just think this game means more to Georgia Tech than it does to Georgia. I know Georgia wants to win. They hate Georgia Tech. I get that. Good old-fashioned hate. Georgia Tech wants this more. They're not going to lose by 35 points. So right. I'm going with Tech on this one.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, it is a big spread. I wouldn't be surprised if we did not cover that. But Louisville at Kentucky, the battle of the Bourbon Bowl. It's the Oak and Barrel.
I think it's the Governor's Cup. I think that's one of the 18 Governor's Cups on Rivalry Week.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just thought of a cooler name to call our rivalry besides Governor's Cup. We play for a Governor's Cup trophy, but we actually call it a cool name, like clean old fashioned hate. So, all right, Steve, Louisville or Kentucky? Louisville or Kentucky?
Yeah, Kentucky's a 3-point favorite. I don't know if Kentucky's 3 points better than air. Yeah, I know what I said. So I'm going to go with Louisville on this one.
Louisville subscribes to the ACC model of play really good one week, play really extremely crappy the next week. Louisville is about as much of a roller coaster as you can get. Kentucky's going to be able to run the ball against them. This is a heated rivalry. I think Chris Rodriguez is going to have a big game. It ain't going to be because of Will Levis, and that defense up front is still pretty stout. So if Louisville decides they want to do the stubborn Georgia game plan and try to run up the middle 27 times for nothing, then they'll continue to do it. So I think Kentucky will pull this one out.
Yeah, I agree. Kentucky has not been playing well recently, and Louisville, like I said, is kind of up and down. But I think this is a game that they get up for because they really want to win, and Kentucky can play well. And I just feel like this week they're going to pull this one out. So I'm going with Kentucky.
Jake,
I'm going Louisville. I mean,
ACC after dark, baby.
It's simple. I mean, I wouldn't trust Will Levis to carry my child right now. So I mean,
that is a. That is a big undertaking.
Yeah, so
there's a lot of responsibility carrying your child.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I have no faith anymore in Kentucky because Will Levis, he has just digressed every single game, and I mean Rodriguez is really good, but I mean you got to give him the ball 40, 50 times for them to have a chance, and I just workload's way too much, and
they will. This game will be 13-10.
Well, then, I think Louisville
14-10.
I think Louisville wins.
Louisville.
I mean, a 4-point win is a cover for Kentucky. So,
yep.
If it was a 6-point spread, I would take Louisville all day. But
that would require them to have a field goal kicker, which they don't.
No, they don't. Becky, what you got?
Y'all, I honestly feel bad for Kentucky. To go from starting so high and hyped this year to where they are now, it's sad. This is going to be just the final kick in the pants for them because Louisville's going to take this, and easily. It's going to be embarrassing.
It's basketball season for Kentucky. Oh wait, they got beat by Michigan State already.
I think they've already lost 2.
Yeah,
Satterfield's coaching for his job. I guess that has something to do with it. All right, it's Iron Bowl time. I haven't seen an Iron Bowl this high of a spread in a while.
Yeah.
Alabama 22-point favorites. Yeah, it is too high for this game. I'm considering changing my pick, but Steve, you're gonna talk me into Bama, right?
I'm thinking about it, but I did think about the rain, and I was like, because Alabama between the tackles. Okay, the rain is. This is my prediction. This is how Alabama's going to win the game by 22. The rain is going to force them to play murder ball with Jace McClellan. It's going to open some stuff up in the tight end game, and Bryce Young is going to put his Superman cape on a couple of times, and Alabama's going to win the game 31-7.
Auburn's going to win a football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. No, that's not going to happen. But they will cover, barely. But they will cover. I think it's going to be one of those, especially if the weather's bad, it's going to be one of those, let's just get the hell out of here. I don't care what the score is. And that's going to favor Auburn. So I think Auburn, the only thing that scares me about picking Auburn in this is it is at Bryant-Denny. It's not on the Plains. But this is a weird game. This is a very, very weird game. Records don't matter. So give me the Tigers and the points.
I almost went with Auburn too, but I think I'm going with Alabama in this one because I think Auburn, up to this point they've been playing, and Cadillac Williams I think has done a good job of getting that team ready. Maybe playing for his coaching gig. I think by now we've seen it's not going to be him, and so Auburn I just don't feel like they're going to be as up for this game as they should be. I think Alabama, Nick Saban never has trouble getting his team up for a game. So I think it's going to end up being Alabama. It's just how big of a spread? 22's pretty big, but I'm not picking against Alabama until they give me a good reason not to.
Jake?
I'll give you a good reason, Jeb. Bill Bryan and Pete Golden. I mean, that's two good reasons for me right there. I don't think
Broyle semifinalist Pete Golden.
Yeah, I don't know how. So anyway, a 2-year-old can coach better than them two idiots. But anyway, I just like I've said, I'm not picking Alabama again this year to cover anything, and I'm sticking to it. No way that Auburn comes in and wins, but they will be fired up and they keep it within. I think Alabama wins by like 17.
No.
Yep.
I completely agree, Jake. Completely. I think Alabama's going to win. I don't think it's going to be a big threat, but I do think Auburn covers this one. So I'm giving it to Auburn.
And I would put the only real money I would actually put on that game is a money line bet. All right, LSU -10 at Kyle Field, which the 12th man has entered the transfer portal. Steve, does that matter for LSU?
Well, this has a game that's an unofficial name of the Gulf War, which is awesome. A&M, I don't know if they could score enough points where LSU cannot cover, because if LSU scored 17 points, they're going to cover in this game. So I think this game has a chance to be like a 24-10, and LSU will cover the game.
Yes, I completely agree, and I really love John's description of watching Jimbo carry around that playbook novel.
Yeah,
I did a little bit on that earlier this season. It's sad. It's like that meme that you see where it's Dave Chappelle's like, you hate to see it, but then again, you love to see it.
yeah.
And this is my thoughts and feelings on the Aggies. Woo!
Oof.
Oh, we're getting our ass kicked. That's what's going to happen. I think LSU's going to win big. They don't have an answer for Jaden Daniels. They have no more fan support. They're going to have to scrape a few pennies together and scrounge up that $98 million it's going to take to fire him. But I think they're going to get flat embarrassed, dude. I really do.
Well, A&M is playing at home, so I completely agree. They're going to get embarrassed. And I think this is actually the week they finally live up to the Texas 4-8 name that we've been giving them. So, because that's what they're going to be after this week. I'm definitely taking LSU in this one.
Yeah, I'm taking LSU big. I mean, I've seen enough from A&M last week that offense is just absolute garbage, and there needs to be changes made immediately if they want to be a threat, in the coming years in the SEC. So give me LSU because they're up and coming. Jaden Daniels is really good. Harold Perkins is like all over the field on defense, so I don't think A&M is going to have an answer for him.
And Becky.
I just think this is going to be one of those that it's a head scratcher. Like, A&M's going to win. They're not just going to cover. They're going to win. Nobody knows why, how it happened. It's just going to be that weird game of the week. I'm taking A&M on this one.
Ooh.
Oof.
Interesting.
Not
I don't
that they
know.
deserve it. It's just going to be a fluke.
I don't. If LSU loses to A&M, they're going to be fired up and ready in the SEC championship game.
No, they won't. They will disband their program and they'll have an interim coach. I mean,
that might happen too.
You can't roll into this game 3-7 and almost losing to UMass and expect that you're going to get any fluke. First of all, I don't know who the hell's playing.
Things have happened, guys. I'm calling it.
This ain't one of them things. But if you're right, Becky, I will show up. I will eat my crow with Frank's Red Hot Buffalo.
Ooh, there's a challenge. Challenge
I'll
accepted
host
for it.
it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at Steve.
Is this another Governor's Cup? I don't know what they call this game, but Tennessee travels to Nashville to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Boom, 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 boom,
No
boom,
doors.
Tennessee is 14 point favorite. So it looks like Steve is going to say, anchor down.
Anyway, 2 rules. Do not bet against Dorvember. That is the way that it goes. And never bet on Joe Milton. Give me the Doors to win this game.
Corey, you're next.
Oh, am I next? Anchor down. I think they at least cover. Why? Because this is just fun. Too much fun. I don't know. Tennessee could absolutely destroy them, but for right now, I'm just kind of fun. I will sacrifice a pick just to go with Vandy. I think Vandy plus 14 is a solid pick with Joe.
Vandy's going to sell out the Liberty Bowl.
No, they're not even going to make it. I'm sorry. Look, they need this game to get bowl eligible, so they're going to let down their fans yet again, like they always do.
Both
and
of
Tennessee, both of them. Did you see them rushing the field? That was the best rush in the field I've ever seen. The orderlies quiet, just walking out of the field in a line. Everybody waiting their turn to go out. And
Hey guys, if you don't mind, I'm gonna sneak past you because I want to rush the field.
That was amazing. Yeah, no, but look, no, Tennessee. I don't know how Joe Milton's going to do, and we're going to see. And I do think it all hinges on how he plays. They have, and I've been keeping up with it because I've been real interested to see what's going to happen next year with Hendon Hooker's gone. Of course, he has been outstanding in practices. He's been really good in games when he's gone in, but it's all been in kind of garbage time. We don't know how he's going to do when the whole game's on him. We'll see. It seems like he's gotten a lot better, but, practice and games are completely different. So I can't say for sure what's going to happen. I feel like, though, Tennessee still has a good enough team that they're going to beat Vanderbilt and go in and have a good bowl game. They're not a playoff caliber team. They're not going to, they were never really going to threaten for a national championship. I get it. Even with Hendon Hooker, they weren't a national championship type team. But they're still a really good team. They're still a lot better than Vanderbilt. And I think they're going to win.
All righty, Jake. Jake is anchoring down.
Yeah. All right, so again, Vandy is 5-6. They need a win to get bowl eligible. They're going to come out fired up. And if I'm the defense coordinator for Vandy, I'm putting 3 safeties about 50 yards back and made Joe Milton throw it 40 yards on you because he can. They can't throw anything less than that. So you play everything in front of you and hold them to field goals, and you got an easy win for Vandy. So
His first play needs to be from the replacements where he just picks a defender and nails him with that ball and just knocks him out. That would be because he could do it. With that arm, he could knock somebody out.
He could 40 yards downfield.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, the first play of the game he got in against Missouri, he threw it 40 yards down the field on a touchdown.
Absolute dime, 40 yards. And then the next series, he had like a 5-yard pass, and he threw a freaking Scud missile.
He has more passes over 40 yards this season than every other SEC quarterback except
That's what we're talking about, Jess.
Well, no shit.
That's what we're talking about.
And he's barely played.
He's got more passes over 40 yards than completions under 10.
Yes, he does.
Well, no shit, Jeb. That's the only pass he can throw.
Can Vanderbilt's defense handle that? I don't know.
I've never seen a receiver make a business decision on a pass, not because he was going to get hit by a defender, but because he was going to get hit by the ball.
Yeah.
Maybe Joe Milton's playing the wrong sport here.
Or Squirrel. Fastest guy we got, Squirrel, just diving in the field trying to catch that ball. Rolling along the ground. It probably knocked him out of bounds. It's good times.
I mean, those throws where and I know Brett Favre's name is kind of toxic right now, but you'd see those throws on NFL films where Brett Favre's just throwing his entire body into it, and he's throwing like a 10-yard pass, and that ball's just like a freaking missile at somebody, and it shouldn't be. That's just Joe Milton. He's knocking people down.
It could be exciting.
God almighty.
All right, tell him why I'm right.
Yeah, unfortunately for Tennessee, Vandy's feeling good right now, and Tennessee has just come off a horrible, horrible loss. Milton is going to feel like he has to prove everybody wrong, and he's going to psych himself out before the first snap of the game.
They're going to black out the dud, man.
Vandy's definitely covering this one. I'm sorry.
Come on.
Yes.
Come on. That's not right. That's not right.
Yes.
Steve, please find us a foghorn and take us out of that.
Foghorn's going to be playing a lot.
All right, so that's going to do it for our picks. Our bowl games,
Nice.
we all know who's going where. I said Tennessee's going to Tax Slayer, LSU's going to Independence, Bama's going to Las Vegas, and Ole Miss is going to the Pinstripe Bowl. All right, so
There you go.
Yeah, and as soon as I get done here, I get to re-record my show because it sounds like everything is going absolutely nuts, and everything that I recorded right before this show is useless.
Oh,
just
you're gonna
replace,
be up all night.
just put this show in for that show, and you
Yeah,
got it.
seriously.
So, so
I mean,
that's,
the first hour you talked about Ole Miss anyway. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the way it should be, right?
it was the Locked On Ole Miss extravaganza, so it does fit.
the Locked On Ole Miss after show.
Steve, I bet you won't do it. All right, so that's going to do it for the SEC After Dark podcast. We hope you had a lot of fun. We hope this Lane Kiffin saga ends for Steve's sake. He's wearing a hoodie in Florida, for Christ's sake, and he's reverted back to Coors Light.
You
Yelled
look
at-
like Belichick.
It's been a day. It's
He
been a
yelled at some
day.
poor waitress earlier. You got Coors Light here?
Yeah. No balls, Steve.
Oh,
Stacey
man.
with a haymaker.
Oh, what did Stacey say? No ball, Steve.
Mhm.
Oh boy. So yeah, we are the SEC After Dark podcast, the number one SEC podcast in the nighttime hour. We hope you had fun. We hope you come back. Make sure you subscribe. The chat was booming tonight, so make sure you come back, hit subscribe, like, tell a friend. Make sure they come back. But we are SEC After Dark, presented by BetOnline.ag and ButcherBox. So until next time, go Dogs, and happy Thanksgiving.
Go Vols.
And hotty toddy.
Roll Tide.
Go Rebs.
Ooh.
Paul.
It's not
First
fair.
time, long time, Paul.
Yeah, it's all over the internet that Lane Kiffin might be staying, by the way.
Let's go.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, if that happens, it's on. And I get to re-record my whole show.
Y'all upped it to 10 million. I can feel it.
You're not going to bed anytime soon, Steve.
Nope, I'm